السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. والله ليالك صور وهذا والله الكريم محمد ومد كواد ونقرأ لقلنا وحقيقو مشغول سن أنا ما كلا يقول مشغول سن but you know what وحا فرصة هو الدنيا عادي هنا ما تصب علي you know right now everything is red except for the dollar. Yeah, there are some crypto in Akala receipt, some other stuff are actually going. Maybe oil had the SOFI receipt, maybe the oil is actually, have some steam and so forth. But if you go had the Asuk Afir on a pre-market data, pre-market have a souk intel foreign ganasika kadaayo between big companies over the front high, you some traders. And there's the opening market, the pre-market opening ajurtu. So the pre-market opening right now we're seeing the S&P has lost بقول إسرائيل إتمن يوصل lose قرية. You can see the Nasdaq, it has lost 568. This is huge. You can see the fair value also so die. And you can also see waxyaalaha kale dhinaca oo la yiraahdo stocks ka and oil ka. Yeah, I was talking about this oil ka kor u kacsan yahay waa kaasa ujeeda. All of this has nothing else to do with adduunyada dagaalka ka socdo. dagaalkaasina waxaan ka hadlayaa nothing else but doctor or president astaghfirullah or doctor maxaa u dhahay president Donald Trump wuxuu soo go'aansaday 25% tariff canshuur inuu saaro Canada, 25% inuu saaro Mexico, 10% China tariff, and 25% Canada waxay dhahday waxaa saarayna Mareykanka. So there is this battle energy lisku dagaalayo back and forth. ninkaneetu wuxuu leeyahay dadkayga arabaa inaan faa'iido u keeno. Canada waxay leeyihiin you know what, hit us anagana dadkeena u faa'iideena. Eventually this is going to stop. aniga taasaan aaminsanahay. The whole reason of waxaaneetu loo sameyno is to bring people to the table to negotiate. So it is a part of tactic game negotiation u tahay. Dow Jones just dropped more than 450 points after the Trump Trump effective tariff kisa, which starts tomorrow maalin isniin ee tahay. It is effective as February the 3rd. It's going to be effective. How long is this going to go? How long will Trump push this? Trump ku sii socod doonaa waaye, dagaalka ma sii wadi doonaa waaye, ama wuu soo celi doonaa, ama wuxuu dhihi doonaa hey aan soo furiisano aan tashano, ama madaxadeegiisa ku soconaya. Like I talked about a previous video, tariff kanet way imaan doonta, and tariff is not going to be good for any other stocks. Like you can argue dollar ayuu u fiican yahay, waa mid aan ka soo hadalnay. Dollarka hadeertan you can look at the pre-market data before the opening that the dollar jumped up from like 108 all the way to 109. It's coming up to wuxuu usoo socdaa meel resistance ayuu u taagan yahay. We have a good trend line which is a good resistance u yahay. A breakout above this is not good for crypto. This is not good for stocks. Continuation of these dollar strength wuxuu u xun yahay dhinaca stocks, wuxuu u xun yahay dhinaca crypto. It's not good news for it because the tariff it's supporting and dadka waxay rabaan safety net ayay u ordooyaan. But right now we are looking at least a cool off, profit taking, going up to a resistance oo ka soo noqonayo. Australia dhibaato badana ka socoto. I think the Australia dollar kooda suxun u soo dhacoya. The banks are cutting rates really sharply, and they are being advised waxaa la dhahoya waxaa fiirisiin Mareykanka tilaabada ay qaadayaan. So previously on a daily wise this was a previous test we kusoo sameeyay. Now it went back up again and it's testing the resistance. If you go straight to Dow Jones and look at the weekly Dow Jones, the opening right now, nothing else than to do wax la yiraahdo a shakeout. I honestly aniga dhinacayga waxaaneeto waa wax oo adiga siyaasad iyo dagaal weyn ka socdo. It actually tested a resistance oo u ahay. There was a previous resistance it u ahaaday and it came back, and now it's actually trying to hold its daily previous close. So a lower low, it's not going to be good for the Dow Jones. The after receipt S&P, same thing. S&P go back to daily. Daily gisa musku dayin to close above it. It got rejected. Now what it's only doing is filling the gaps. But you can see the accuracy, the 52 weekly a yearly average wax la yiraahdo above it. The only concern ama khalkhalka oo ka dhici doono oo ka jiri doono is tariffkaneeto haddii oo sii socdo for it to fill in this gap. And if it's going to come back, haddii la dhaho bahalkaneeto, let's go back to dhinaca weekly reset ku sameynaya. And if you can see the weekly, it has been at least some kind of a channel or kujure breakdown or mar usameye, and it came back to this channel. But this is a very sharp channel. So it's as far as like healthy wise, matahay, it's not healthy. It definitely needs to rest. Suuqa soo daadashadaneeto u fiicneed waxunna ma ahan, waa fursadaaseetona gacan badan ay soo martay. fursadaaseetona maantan haddii aad ka faa'iidaysana is leedahay suuqa ka carar, it's never going to come back. You're never going to be ma ka noqon doontid ummadda the diamond hands waxa la yiraahdo. It's an opportunity oo aad fursadaaneeto laga faa'iidaysanayo, the sell-off kaneeto laga faa'iidaysanayo, these tariff movements. Eventually this is going to come back, soo noqonaya, and you are going to regret. waxaa dhihi doontaa maxaa u noqon waaye ummadda ka qayb qaadan lahay oo ka faa'iidaysan lahay. Really quickly on the US Treasury, one thing aniga aan sugoyo is the breakdown on this one, breakdown below this trend line and 52 moving average kisa. It's way above it. What I want to see eventually inuu kusoo noqdo this trend line, and this is going to be really good for dhinaca stocks because this is where when qafka dadka Mareykanka ama any other countries dhinaca bonds ka marka la yiraahdo, they try to go for safety, dollarka safety ka raadsadaan, and US government bonds treasury yield ka raadsadaan dhinaca waxa la yiraahdo safety. So this is going to be a safety net for them, but eventually a breakdown dhinaca on a daily ganet aan ka hadlooya, and coming down to the previous channel oo ku jiro on a weekly basis, downtrend kanet oo kusoo noqdo waaye. Retest on this one is going to be really good for actually crypto. Breakdown and come back down, valuation dhinaca crypto ay u roon tahay. US government bonds right now, it's promising. Dad badan ayuu wuxuu siinoyaa interest rate fiican ay siinoyaan, and labada wax loo ordooyo hadeertaan waa US bonds and dollarka loo ordooya. As you can see that the dollar spiked up, and right now it's actually coming up to a resistance. Eventually wuu qaboowaya before it actually tries to continue. So we will see what happens above this trend line, and a break above this trend line neto uma fiicno dhinaca stockska again, and crypto it will continue seeing more bloodbath wax la yiraahdo, daadasho ayaa kasii soconayso. It might come to a point that labada wadan Canada iyo China iyo Mareykanka inay heshiiyaan to turn the tables around, that breakout yariis inuu sameeyo oo fake out oo noqdo oo dhinaca crypto adigana ee soo noqoto ee labadooda ee kor isla wada aadaan. Let's get back to waxa la yiraahdo BTC. If you look at it right now, BTC, it's actually doing what it's supposed to do. On a weekly bahalka la yiraahdo yearly average kiisa uma dhawo, it's really far away from it. It's still in the bullish trend ayuu weli ku jiraa, even though that we have seen at least 7% sell off. So about 5% sell off this week waaye, and this is now you're looking at the previous all-time high gisa, which is about 73,000 on a 52 weekly average. Yearly average kiisa waaye. sanadka dhan lasoo dhaafay iyo sanadkaneeto cusub bilaab mooyo average kiisa wuxuu fadhiyaa 73. That's a good indication bahalkaneeto it's still on the upward momentum. The only thing that right now bahalka dhinaca bullska laga sugayo for this bullish momentum to continue is to hold this demand area. This demand area is very critical for BTC. Without holding this demand area right now as we speak, it is going to not look good for the market. It's going to go back and retest at the very least the previous 6.18 measure oo kasoo kacay, which is about 83,000. kan hora kasoo hadalnay that 83,000 is going to be the most outlining defensive mode it has stand in our BTC. Break below this 83,000, we are definitely going to see 73,000. haddii oo meeshan 83,000 oo soo jabsado, right now it's level by level. The first level is to break this demand area. Demand area ganeeto, if it shows to be a good strong demand on noqdo, it's at least going to go back up and test the 100k, no doubt. Shaki kuma jiro. That is if it holds. haddii also hold gareyneynin, I have no doubt in my mind wuxuu aadi doonaa 83,000, 88 iyo meelahaas 85 ka raadin inta uu kusoo taabanaya, no doubt about it. All you watch isha aan ku hanayo is this area oo soo jabsanayo. haddii oo soo jabsado BTC way ku daasay, it's going to test the 6.18. Now if I go back to Ethereum, Ethereum was the biggest sell-off of all altcoins. Altcoin yaasha kala yariiriska kama hadlaya, all the low cap, medium cap kama hadlaya. Ethereum just lost 13% just today, and yesterday we had another 7%. As a weekly close, right now weekly close for this week, Ethereum alone waxay imaatay below the yearly average. Below the yearly average uma fiicno. It has to come back up and show its strength and close above 2,900 for Ethereum to go and see and test uso taabto to dabada kun. Right now, as we can see, aad ujeedid wuxuu usoo noqday, wuxuu laga soo celiyey. This 4,000 has been a critical resistance several times ayaa laga soo celiyey. Now it's back down to the 2,200. The 2,200 level ayuu imaaday and even went below it, weak below it, and went all the way to 2,100 and below. 2,143 ayuu weak kusoo sameeyey oo soo taabtay. You have at least wax la yiraahdo dhinaca trend line that back wuxuu ka soo bilowday June of 2022. This trend line has been tested several times. Let's go back to logarithmic. This trend line ujeedno inta meeshan oo yahay has been tested several times, and Ethereum has been showing some strength every time oo inta imaado. It has been showing some kind of a consolidation. Ayuu inta ku samaystay another consolidation, ayuu ku sameeyey right above it. Here there was another consolidation, and here there was at least a retest and continue going back up. su-aasha waxay tahay haddeertaan meeshan uu taagan yahay, is Ethereum going to hold and come back up and close above this in the coming week? Right now in this week it has already shown starting maxay ahayd I think kan wuxuu u bilaabmay March 3rd wuxuu ku bilaabmay this opening week. So coming Sunday hadda soo socoto oo maanta isniin tahay, you definitely want to see Ethereum that this was just a fake out and it's back into its previous trend line. Without that, Ethereum, you're looking at a break below that. That break below Ethereum, definitely you are looking at the 1400 level as another buy in. Or continuation kaneto, break below ganeto or jabsado, closes below this, also fake out, also nokonin. It actually tests this, then definitely Wokudai, you are going to target the 1,500 or the 1,400 level. You want to see waxa akaradinono Ethereum is balkaneto for it to be at least a fake out or kuso noqdo this trend line above it and hold it melahan, or at least or kusame some kind of waxa la yiraahdo consolidation before it tries to go back and test the 4,000. Without that, Ethereum also, it doesn't look good. I would jump straight to another coin is Solana. Solana also has another trend line, and it has been in a channel Kano Kujura on a weekly wise. This was the target for me. Eventually channel Komarko or Jabsolo, you would always want to target the top of the channel, which is $1,000 your kabadan. Right now it's testing that channel and it's actually testing waxa la yiraahdo the yearly average, which is $166 uu ku fadhiyo ama 165. It definitely needs to hold as right now meesha uu ku fadhiyo. It's not looking horrible. A break below this, it's not going to look good for dhinaca waxa la yiraahdo bahalkaneeto Solano. You do not want to see below 175. You don't want to see a daily close or a weekly close below this trend line and below 175. Definitely you are going to go back all the way down here. Fursadaaseeto waxay u fureysaa jid cusub ay u fureysaa to target this place, which is close to $118. That is what I see. Haddii oo jabsado waaye in a weekly below. And consider the tariff. I cannot repeat this. Stress this very importantly. Tariff kaneeto dagaalkiisa haddii uu sii socdo, we are going to see a lot of huge sell-off again. This is going to be the beginning, but I hope inshallah this is just a shakeout, and big other companies waaweyn, you know, the big countries oo isdagaalayo, they will come to the table inay arkaan ummadooda inay ku rafaadoyaan eena ka noqdaan bahalkaneeto. waxaa cajiib fursad ay ugu noqotay that waxaan ka hadlayay some other coins are issue ku haya is that they eventually retested its previous buy area, go the break below. You definitely want to see this to be a fake out haduusan u ahayn uusan kusoo noqonin above the buy area. This is going to be the target, which is way below 0.052 u noqonaya. And to show you a very good example of that, or short fiican ay ahead, but I didn't stay long in it, and ka baxay is kan. This is a good example to show you how the charts really work. This is the charts, how they really work. Demand area into a high, below area, I will put myself high time frame, breakdown, short ugal, buy with a stop loss. Into kusono you put a buy, but high time frame area, we're going to see a short, and this was my target. It is so incredible. Bahal Kaneto, the way I showed it. Alhamdulillah. It is so incredible to see Bahal Kaneto that it will last almost 45%. Nothing else told me to buy this in long if the high time dhinaca marka laga hadlayo the daily close, it came back to the buy area and tested and went below and closed it below again. That was for a short ahead. Fursadaaseeto kalena hadda waxay ka soo baxaysaa Aptos ayay ka soo baxday fursad cusub on a waxa laga hadlo daily wise, weekly. This is my target. When it goes above this, a breakout, it's going to be a target. Breakout kiisa, target kiisa waa kana. If it fails and continues, nothing else, this is going to be the target continuation kaneto. When it breaks below it, this is the definitely up to 75%. Khasaro ayu keeni doona suuqa if it breaks below this. But definitely for me right now, it's a buy area. All I have to watch is a break below this, waan ka baxay. Same thing with Axis, a break below. Right now, I'm out of it. The only way I target gray karo above this is when it comes back up, retest o kusameyo, that can or you know the fake out, I buy above in, and that's when I start putting my buys in Bahal Kaneto Axis. There are so many coins like those ones aniga and dawadunoyo and la socdo. But right now, waxaa rabaa inaan igu soo dhameeyo inshallah wax la yiraahdo BTC CME futures, where there is always haddii aad taqaanid waxa la yiraahdo gaps, where there is always a gap, it's going to be filled. So right now it's so beautiful from 101,000 all the way to 98. Wuxuu taagan 91 uu soo taabtay. This is a gap. This gap, I know for sure, for a fact, Go to Ethereum too. Waa labada coin biggest ETF coins aan ka hadlayo trading. Ethereum and waxaan ka hadlayaa BTC. I'm not talking about coin kale. They have a gap. It has a gap between the 3,000 all the way to 2,800. This is also another gap. And these gaps, mar kasto waa la soo buuxiyaa. There was a gap here, waa la buuxiyey. This gap, it got filled on above. Eventually, I know Ethereum is going to fill this gap. Oo soo buuxsan doona. So will BTC. It doesn't matter where it goes. Ha ahaado 75, ha ahaado 85, it does not matter. The point aniga with this CME chart is this gap, it will be filled. Woo soo noqon doona, woona buuxi doona. The question is, will it continue, or once it fills this gap and now it's going to break down and retest meeshaneeto? There is this huge gap into ku jirto. Between 81,000 to 77,000. Break below this with CME futures haddii la jabsado, eventually BTC wuu ku daayay, wuxuu imaan doonaa all the way down to 77,000. It's this, the question I isweydiinayo hadeertan is something waxaa jirto la dhaho runaway gaps iyo fill gaps. If this haddii oo soo jabsado BTC, a very huge sell kala haddii ay ka soo dhacdo, the same one we just saw today or even this last week, and you can haddii oo ku imaado the 6.18 aan ka hadlayo, this 61 average kaneto from the previous low all the way to its all-time high, 61.8 kaneto haddii oo meeshaneeto oo soo jabsado, you definitely are looking to go and test that gap. That's how the system works. So it's either going to be Balkaneto right now as we speak, that hold gareeyo and it comes back up, and Balkaneto or the previous gap aan ka soo tagnay waxay u noqonaysaa nothing else than a runaway gap. You cannot know right now, hadeertan you cannot predict ahead to say this was a runaway gap. Runaway gap waxaa waaye gap kaneeto waa laga tagay, ma lagu soo noqon doono waay macnaheeda. You can see here there was a previous gap, waa la imaaday, wuu soo daatay, waana la soo celiyey, waa la buuxiyey, haddana wuu soo daatay, gap kaloo sameeyey, kor u soo noqday, gaapkii haddana waa la buuxiyey, kor u noqday, and it left. So the question is, meeshaaneetu ma ku soo noqon doonaa, ama inuusa meesha oo insha intuu ku noqdo oo ka sii socdo, haddii oo ka sii socdo, this is a runaway gap. So there's nothing right now aniga aan ku dhihi karo this is going to be a runaway gap. waxaa la ogaa doonaa, the only way you find out is level by level inshallah, and the 6.18 is the most critical one. Two places, 91,000 is the week oo hadda soo taabtay, to hold above it, and if we close below that on a high time frame, on a weekly close, haddii aa aragtid 91,000 and below to 90 to 91,000, below that on a weekly, ha ka sugin inuu gaabkaneeto oo soo buuxiyo. Waxaa ka raadisaa 6.18, which is the 85,000. Hold it, probably do a small fake out and come back up again. Definitely you are going to retest the 100,000. You only trade the market with the trend. Right now, your friend is your trend, and the trend hadda lagu jiro, it's an upward trend. That upward trend kaaseeto lagu jiro has not changed. Wax isbedela male. Daadashadan ay soo daadatay, that it's showing Ethereum about 25% or 13%. You know, futures SME waxay dhawayaan 25%, but regular Ethereum USD waxaa way 13%. They have not accounted for the buyga oo kusoo noqday weli. Average kaneeto has not been accounted. Eventually wuxuu noqon doonaa asigana 13%. That one is yet to be seen. The uptrend really is intact. That uptrend will only be lost when the 6.18 is lost. When the 6.18 is lost, BTC has seen wax la yiraahdo Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, waxay dhahaan the short term high, new all time high, the short term peak. Like it's not its actual peak for new all time high, but it is the short term peak or kasoo noqday or eventually lagu noqon doono. And we will see that, and I am yet to see that I'm proven otherwise. Right now, to me, I am in a strong favor that Balkan bullish momentum keys is still intact and we have not lost it. And the only time we lose on the BTC is when it breaks below that. As far as it comes down to BNB, yeah, BNB, it's horrible. It's beautiful, but it's always an opportunity. For you to get back in the game, and you could go back and create all your drawings, and inshallah wa fursad weyn. Majority of the coins, they are holding their yearly average koda. Some of them lost their yearly average koda waa laga jabsaday, like Ethereum camal waa la jabsaday. Solana way haasataa wili, Litecoin wili woo haastaa, BNB wili way haasataa, BTC wili woo haastaa, Optimism it lasted mar hore lumiyey. That break below, this was when I was like, you know what, all the other coins, they will lose against BTC. So inshallah, just protect your capital, Kadi, when you are doing futures. Again, protect your capital. Always admit your loss khasarada suuqa ugu bax when you're dealing with futures. Emotion are so gelini, but when you're dealing with waxa la yiraahdo spot trading, waa fursad kuu soo baxday inta taarifkan inta dagaalkiisu ka dhacayo. Right now, what I believe is the quantitative easing waxa la yiraahdo is around the corner. Quantitative easing wuxuu imaanaya marka of Jerome Powell oo arko that ninkaneeto Trump is actually ruining the economy ayuu dhibaato u soo wadaa. That is when Jerome Powell will start printing money, and he can do it in one night. Waa hore saa ugu soo hadalnay, this Dow Jones and S&P waxaan soo daadanayso to him is nothing. But when S&P and Dow Jones see a huge loss, that is when Jerome Powell steps in to save the market. And that's when wax la yiraahdo quantitative easing oo bilaawanayo. And when that quantitative easing kaseeto ay bilaabato, dollarka uma ficno, dollarka wuu soo noqonaa. It will find a stability ayuu heli doonaa, and it will be so great for inshallah dhinaca crypto. The alt season has not ended, and inshallah I hope to be amongst those people oo ka faa'iidaystay. And haddii aanan ka faa'iidaysanin, there will always be an opportunity. But I believe that opportunity gaaseeto inaysan man dhaafin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.